So in this video I want to talk about Boltund and why I feel like he should be used more in Pokemon. So first of all, his abilities I think are both pretty good. He's got access to Strong Jaw and eventually he'll get access to Competitive, which I do think is his better ability of the two. Once when he gets that, I'll be switching mine over to that because I prefer to run a special attack set with my Boltund. But I have talked to some people who they prefer the physical attacker version, but I like mine more as a support Pokemon rather than trying to get kills with. So his stats, he's got terrible HP, defense, and special defense, and so I usually just run a focus sash on him, expect to at least take 2 hits, but you know, he has potential with some of his other moves to live through some hits, but it's still pretty bad. His speed, though, I think is incredible. In this generation, there's really a lot less speedy Pokemon than there used to be, and so as long as they're not running a Whimsicott, Tailwind kind of setup, then you should be good to outspeed most things besides like Dragapult or a Excadrill in Sand. But that way you can at least get like a Nuzzle off, and he's pretty good at speed control. His attacks, though, they are both the same, so you really can run him either way. He probably has a larger move pool when dealing with like the attack stat than he does with his special attack, but his special attack, I feel like it's harder for them to drop that stat. Especially once when Competitive is out. I think this will be the better one to run, even though he gets less moves. So let's go over some of the moves. I think that this by far is the best move that he has, and he's one of 2 Pokemon in the game that get access to it, and it's one that people don't really know about, don't really use. And I'll talk a little bit more later about why it's so good. I also feel like Nuzzle is a really good move, especially in this generation. There's a lot of Trick Room and Tailwind being used, and this at least gives you some control of speed and potential full paralyzes, which is really nice. For his physical moves, these don't really matter. Crunch and Nuzzle, I think, are probably the 2 that he actually learns leveling. Other than that, he gets access to a lot of the fangs. So you get Thunder Fang, Fire Fang. You also get, I think, Psychic Fang. Yeah, Psychic Fang. And then Crunch. Those are the ones that would work with that Strong Jaw ability. Okay, with my build, I actually don't use this one. This is the one that I am currently using in game. I run Thunderbolt, Snarl, Nuzzle, and Electrify, and I had the Thunderbolt and Snarl for damage. Like, the Snarl is definitely more of a support one and helps with hitting ground type Pokemon. But Thunderbolt has a chance to paralyze and does pretty good damage. But the main things I use on him are the Nuzzle and Electrify. So Electrify, if you're using it against a non-Dynamax Pokemon, it will turn any move, including like an Earthquake, into Electric type. So it would still hit both people, still do the same amount of damage, but the resistances on the Pokemon it's hitting would be different. And so what's nice is he actually resists Electric type since he's electric. Electric's resisted by Electric, Grass, and Dragon. And so, and then fully resisted 100% by Ground. So I like to run him alongside something like an Appleton or Dracozolt, or you could do Rhyperior or even Excadrill. Those are really good pairs with him. So that's what it does against a non-Dynamax move. But when fighting Dynamaxed or G-Max Pokemon, it is incredible, this move. Like, it's pretty average, not Dynamaxed, but against those moves, it really messes up people's strategies. So if someone was doing a Max Steel Spike on you, you would switch it not to a electric type of Max Steel Spike, but you would actually switch it to the move Max Lightning, which would set up electric terrain for you, preventing any sleep. It would also increase damage output by your Boltund. and it would not allow them to get that defense increase that they were hoping for. And so any of those moves, it'll switch to Max Lightning, including all the G-Max moves. So Charizard won't be able to get his every turn of fire off. Lapras can't get its Aurora Bell setup. And especially if you're going into a Rhyperior, and it's like a Lapras trying to do a Max Geyser, then it actually just is immune and wastes a turn for them. And so I've found that using that alongside a Pokemon that has a Protect ability, like a Max Guard, I'm able to waste at least 2, if not all, the turns of that Pokemon in their Dynamax. And I think that's probably the main reason he should be used, is to use Electrify as well as Speed Control. However, I do have some damage calculations up. So this one is just against a Charizard. I have both attacks fully invested here. I'm using a nature that doesn't boost either one of them because I would boost my speed stat when playing with them. But this is non-natured damage, and the item isn't like a life orb or anything. But against a Charizard, he can one-shot for sure with his physical set. And with his special set, he will sometimes one-shot, a little less than half the time, but still it's good damage. If they do Dynamax though, then and have the candies, then you're not going to be one-shotting anymore. And then against something tankier like a Lapras, these are both, I know, super effective hits, but still you get some good damage, and it's not going to kill him, but it at least does some chip. So you have that option of attacking and trying to get some kills with him if you want, but I really think that he makes one of the best support Pokemon in the game. The hard part's just those defenses and HP. But basically, yeah, that's what I think of Boltund. I also have the moves here that he can use with his ability Strong Jaw and a Life Orb set. I still would run the Focus Sash in my opinion. I don't think the damage is worth the frailness that he has. And if I was trying to make one of these, I would probably try and include Nuzzle at least, if not Nuzzle and Electrify. But that's my thoughts on Boltund, and thanks for watching.